occurred, they brought it back out and they passed that terrible bill called the Patriot Act. So I think if we truly want our liberties back, we should start by repealing the Patriot Act.
Yeah! The NDAA!
When I quizzed another member of Congress when we were voting for this, I said, why are you voting for this? You haven't even had a chance to review it. We only had 1 hour. And he said, well, how can I vote against the Patriot Act? How can I go home, and tell people I voted against the Patriot Act? And I said, there's a lot of bad stuff in it. He says, well, I know that. He says, but how can I explain it to him at home? I said, well, that's your job. Go home and explain it to him.
I heard this a couple minutes ago actually, this same line.
If that bill would have been called Repeal the Fourth Amendment Act, then I had a lot harder time passing.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what it was. But it hasn't gotten much better over this last decade. Personal liberties were too careless, and that's why this movement, this freedom movement, is so crucial. We need to reverse this attitude that we can just allow governments to codify now some of the terrible things they had been doing all along. The governments have been acting outside the law, but at least they knew that we would object, and they kept it quiet, and they did it secretly, and they'd use the CIA to overthrow governments and a lot of other things that they shouldn't have been doing. But now, what have they done? The president, a year ago, he announced that it is proper policy and official policy of the United States government for the president to make a decision to assassinate American citizens.
NDAA, no good!
Charges or without a trial. He's tested it, and it's been done 3 times. So it's that principle that counts. Why do we have trials for bad people? To make sure that we're never subject to those kind of trials for political reasons. But we give trials, after World War II, the Nazi war criminals were given trial. Adolf Eichmann, even years later when he was arrested, was taken to Israel, he was given a trial. Timothy McVeigh, he was a pretty bad guy. I mean, they just say, oh, you're a bad guy, you don't deserve a trial. But that is what has been accepted. And yet if you don't think it's a trend, just this past month, they came on the National Defense Authorization Act.
National Defense Authorization Act. Dude!
The Authorization Act has literally codified and said openly that the military can arrest any American citizen because you're a suspect. And that wasn't bad enough. What else they said was, you definitely don't get an attorney. You are denied an attorney, you are put away indefinitely in a prison which could be overseas. Now they put that down in black and white. So that should alert us to, the crisis that we're facing. And it all can be solved by understanding the Declaration of Independence in our Constitution. That
freedom!
Our lives and our liberty come in a natural way or a God-given way. And if our life and liberty comes in that manner, the government can't take it away, can't take our rights away. And if we believe that the government has the authority to be arbitrary in enforcing these laws, then we're in big trouble. But the government's role should be very minor, and that is to protect liberty, not to be able to undermine what is naturally ours.
NDAA
atmosphere exists, it carries over into the domestic scene as well. I detest all these wars, especially since they're unnecessary and dangerous and unconstitutional.